And my husband thinks that I cannot live without being this way, which is untrue because our first year marriage, I was completely devoted to him and only him. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, why I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over two different stories dealing with the idiotic subject of open marriages and open relationships. And the first story I'm going to go over is titled, I Cheated and Husband Now Wants an Open Marriage. And big shout out to Michael for sending me this story. And this first one, guys, let me tell you, this is the Selfish A-Hole of the Year award. This is about a young gal. She's 23. She's been married to her husband for 3 years. Got married at 20 years old. How dumb is that? And for 2 years now, she's been cheating on him. And of course, she gets caught. And now he wants to have an open marriage, probably just to bide his time to find her replacement and kick her to the curb. And guess what? She doesn't like that very much. She finds it very unfair, and she's afraid of losing him and all that, and is simply having a little minor whiny hissy fit about the whole thing, which is quite amusing. Second one's about a gal who's does the open polyamorous lifestyle, and her boyfriend found out about it, and he's not too happy about it when she asked him for it. And we're going to go into that later. But the first one in particular, you guys will definitely enjoy here, because you can't make this stuff up. It starts, I am a 23-year-old woman, and I've been married to my husband for 3 years. I have cheated on him for the last 2 years. He caught me in my lies, and so I had to tell him everything. I feel ashamed for it, and being he's understanding, now wants to open up our marriage, but I don't feel very comfortable with it. Let me get this straight. You've been cheating on your husband for 2 years. You got married at 20 years old, which is stupid as all hell. But you've been cheating on him for 2 years of those 3 years. And now he found out, you're caught, and now you're not comfortable because he wants to open marriage. He can do whatever he damn well pleases. You should be happy that he actually still wants to stay with you. Now, in my opinion, he's probably looking for her replacement, or maybe he wants to have a little payback, who knows. But where does she get off complaining about it? And, for a whole 1 year, she was loyal to him? Oh, whoopee. But why the hell even bother getting married, right? No doubt resources. She says, I know it sounds hypocritical, you think, and even selfish, but for some reason, I just can't bear to see him with someone else. And when I say he wants an open relationship, he wants to include me in everything. He says it'll make us closer. But for some reason, I'm just not okay with it. In my mind, and I guess it's because I'm a jealous person. Oh, okay, but it was perfectly okay for 2 years of your marriage for you to be cheating on this guy left and right. That's okay, but he's not allowed to have his fun too? Oh, okay. And you just expect him to just forgive you and just, go on like nothing happened? Doesn't work that way. You're lucky he's staying with you, but I'm convinced this guy's he's like, okay, all right, I'll get a whole bunch of three-ways out of this with my wife, and then I'll find a better girl and I'll replace her or something like that. I just don't buy he's just so casually like, all right, no problem. But look at this. You want to talk about selfish here. But we're going to dig pretty deep into what the real motivation is aside from sausage for her cheating. She says, I fear if we open up our marriage, he might like the SEX better with that other person. When I was cheating, and the way I think about it, it was not something personal. It's just SEX, and it's not always SEX, it's flirting or sexting. Because I'm not falling in love with that other person. I just like the whole teasing game, which the majority of the time, for me, doesn't have to lead to SEX as mentioned before. I just like being noticed and feel hot and sexy and making other men hot for me. Look what she revealed in there, something I talk about all the time. Attention and validation. It's like a drug to them. Literally, it's like a plant that can't function out sunlight or water. Right there. It's not always about that. It's the flirting and the sexting. I like the attention. I like feeling noticed. Right there, she admitted what is so obvious behind the action of so many gals. And social media and dating apps is such a temptation for so many of them, which is behind a lot of the stories I go over here. Who in their right mind told this guy it was a smart idea to get married at 20 years old, let alone to this broad? She says, and my husband thinks I cannot live without being this way, which is untrue because our first marriage, I was completely devoted to him and only him. In the first year, you were completely devoted to him? Oh, okay. Well, because you're devoted for a whole whopping 1 year, therefore then you get a pass. You got to be kidding me here. And your husband is right that you can't live without the attention and validation, because obviously that first year when you were claiming to be loyal to him, that was probably driving you crazy not getting that attention. And again, she got married at 20 years old. She's a freaking kid. I'm sure many of you guys are well aware of the young people nowadays, even the ones when they're graduating college around 22, 23, they still have the maturity level of a bunch of freaking high school kids. So, 20 years old, please. She says, then we got into an argument, and have said and done things that made me resent him and question his love for me, which is why I believe it led to me cheating and flirting, which I know it doesn't justify my actions. Now, the other thing, blaming him for her cheating. We got into fights and arguments, and therefore, that's why I cheated. If he didn't do that, then I would have cheated. Bullshit. Despite the things he has said to me and the things he was done to make me resent him, it doesn't compare to what I did. And he found out after he found out that I cheated. I've come to realize what an amazing husband I have and who I don't want to lose. Isn't it interesting how once they cheat and the guy finds out and they only feel bad because they got caught, then they realize just how wonderful and amazing he is. But before then, they completely forgot about that. Again, how many times have you heard that in stories? Or maybe you experienced this, guys. He's done countless things for me and has always put me first for everything, which is why I feel completely ashamed for cheating on him, but most of all to lying to him. Sounds like a nice guy. Right here, putting me first for everything. Notice the bad boys put the girl dead last, and who the girls chase after and cheat with? The bad boys. Who do they cheat on? The nice guys always put them first. This is why I tell you guys the two major differences between nice guys and bad boys. Bad boys always put themselves first and check the girl in her BS. Nice guys put the girl first, make sacrifices and all that for them, and never check them on their BS, and they get cheated on and dumped and treated badly. Endless stories I've done, guys. It's the same thing. So if you think I'm full of crap, don't know what I'm talking about, just watch enough of my videos, you'll get the point. And we have great SCX, and I honestly don't care, nor am I really looking to have you-know-what with anyone else. Well, your prior actions prove otherwise, honey. Like I said before, I just like the game and feeling hot and sexy and making men want me, which is what I'm trying to explain to him, but it's hard for him to believe me. Oh, how dare he not believe you? How dare he question your word? Given your action for 2 years, you were cheating on him with Lord knows how many men, and Lord knows how many men you were getting attention and flirting with, probably for social media and dating apps and when he wasn't around. No guy is going to forget this or get over this. I'm convinced the open relationship thing, so you can have a little fun, say he did some threesomethings, I got to speak in code here, and then cut her loose. And she knows it. She knows that she's garbage. She knows that he's better than her. And she knows that he probably, the second he finds a replacement, boom. This is why she doesn't like it. I just don't know if I want to open up the marriage. I just want the things to go back the way they used to be, but I don't think they are. The cheaters always say, why can't things go back to the way they used to be? Because they're the ones that did the cheating. They weren't the ones being cheated on. The ones that were cheated on, no, it can't go back to the way it used to be. And we don't want to divorce because we have done a lot to get where we are. We both agreed that we didn't want to throw it away. I just wish I wasn't a jealous, possessive wife. Someone please give me some advice. Some advice, stop being a selfish a-hole and actually divorce this guy. All right? And what I mean by that is, and then don't take him for everything he's worth, even though he's probably not worth a whole lot. Cut this guy loose because he should be with a piece of crap like you. That's what you should do. But if you stay with him, he deserves to play as much as you do too. But you know, at the end of the day, this marriage is fucked. So it's a joke. It's a sham. It's not going anywhere. But he deserves a little playtime. But if this guy wrote to me, I would say kick this chick to the curb. All right? If you want to get some fun out of it, fine. Knock yourself out. But ultimately, kick her to the curb and start over and learn from this mistake and never get married again after this whole thing, let alone to any guy that don't get married that young. 20 years old? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Well, now, it's even dumber if you're 19 and even dumber if you're 18. But you guys get the point. Now, here's some comments here, and they're definitely funny. Putting her in her place. One guy says here, I'm hearing someone who lies to herself and to others to try to rationalize that it's okay for her to do things and not for others to do the same. Acting monogamous for 1 year of a 3-year marriage is not devotion. I was 14 years with my wife and turned down numerous women, told her about my desires before even considering acting on them, and allowed her to go first and still after that and gave her a chance to opt out and have me stay monogamous. You effed up big time here, and you breached his trust. Of course he thinks you cannot live without it. Once a cheater, always a cheater, and she's not going to be able to get over that attention and validation. How many stories have I done when the woman says, oh, okay, I'll shut off all my social media, no more of that, and eventually the guy finds out she just opened up another Facebook account or Instagram or whatever the hell it is. Another guy says here, so you got married and couldn't last a year without cheating. Why get married at all? And you can casually explain it away to strangers by saying he made you resent him. You have no idea how lucky you are that he even wants to talk to you after you breach his trust like that. You should let him do whatever the F he wants for 2 years. What could go wrong? Remember, she's Miss I'm jealous, possessive person. Well, she's that way because in her mind, I know I'm a cheater. I know I'm a piece of garbage, so I assume everybody else is that way. And she knows this guy's obviously a good guy and he'll get swept up real quick. Another one says here, you have some problems inside yourself that need to address wholeheartedly, immediately, and probably for a lengthy period of time. Here are a few, and this is really good. This guy's putting her in her place. He says, stop making excuses. You say you know what you did was wrong, and then you come up with numerous reasons you did it. Those aren't reasons you did it. Those are reasons you wanted to. But the reason you acted on that desire is because you made the active decision to be a liar who takes the cowardly and selfish route. Number 2, learn how to have hard conversations that you start, even when it's scary. You get no credit whatsoever for discussing all this with your husband now. You simply got caught. Correct. She got caught. That's why she's sorry. That's why we're getting into this. Next one, number 3. If you crave attention as intensely as you describe and are willing to behave so terribly to get it, that is a pathological level of need. Sort that out in therapy. Number 4, truly internalize that feelings don't cause actions. Your actions are always your choice. Someone with more courage and honesty than you would have made very different decisions, even with the same feelings. I really like this guy. Number 5, no more acting like a victim of your feelings. I'm just a jealous person. Well, too bad. That's up for you to work on. Maybe you can never be happy with polyamory. Fine, but I'm just a jealous person is a cop-out. What you actually mean is, I don't want to have to manage my feelings. If I have hard feelings, there's nothing to do I can do to change them, and so instead other people need to accommodate them. That would never be an acceptable excuse for someone who tries to limit others because they're just an angry person. We'd say, that's your issue, and you have no right to tell anyone else to coddle you just so you don't have to deal with your own emotions. He says, let me read this again. I don't know what you guys should do, but I do know that you in particular need to take a long, hard look at yourself. You need to be significantly harsher towards yourself. Good luck there. You need to view your own self as a grown-up child in need of a Jupiter-sized wake-up call and change accordingly. It's really hard to do that. It's hard to look at yourself in the mirror and say sincerely, I haven't even tried to be a good person and there's something really wrong with me. Shame usually isn't very useful, but sometimes we do deserve to be ashamed of ourselves, and then we should use that to become the decent people we can choose to become. Well, I agree with everything that dude said about laying down the law with her and putting her in her place, but that last part, good luck with her looking in the mirror and taking responsibility for her actions or using shame or being ashamed of herself. Fat freaking chance. But anyhow, right there, I mean, unbelievable. All what she did twisted out to be that he's the bad guy. I can't function. It was really about the attention and validation, which we all know here. And now she doesn't want him to go have his fun. Imagine that. Open marriages, open relationships, cheating. You end that relationship. You terminate it. It's not going to work. Now, second story is a quick one, but I thought it'd be a good one to connect with the first one. The second one's called, I, a 20-year-old female, suggest an open relationship. How can I get my boyfriend to stop being upset with me? I don't know. Break up with him. Realize it's not going to work if that's who you are. Because in this story here, she claims to be poly, because that's what they all say they are. I discovered I'm poly. But one thing I will say here, according to her in this story, and this is according to her, she let him know ahead of time before they got together, and he still dated her. So in one sense, I'll give her credit. She let him know what he was getting into, but obviously no surprise, she couldn't be monogamous. Which in my opinion, the whole poly crap is just an excuse people have to fool around. She says, little backstory. I'm pan and have been in poly relationships in the past. My current boyfriend and I have been together for about 1.5 years now. She's 20 years old. And she's talking like she's been in relationships for 15 years doing the whole poly, pan, crap, whatever the fuck it is. At the beginning of the relationship, I told him that I was poly and he was fine with it, but told me that he didn't want to be part of a poly relationship and would rather stay monogamous with me. If what she says is true, at least she said that, but she shouldn't have gotten a relationship with anyway. But obviously she's being selfish. Or maybe she thought, like, I could handle it, but no. I was fine with that, but for the past few months, I've been feeling held back by the relationship. She says, that sounds bad. I don't mean it to be like that. You mean you're missing getting other sausage or other things? And she says, and invalidated by friends. I've asked him a few times past jokingly, like, what would you do if I got a girlfriend? Ha ha. But we never ever had a serious conversation about it. When women bring up hypothetical situation, guys, usually it's not hypothetical. Usually she's testing the waters to see how you may feel about a particular issue. Just want to point that out right here. Perfect example. She said, personally, I want to explore who I am, poly/pan, while I'm still young, and preferably have a partner that accepts that side of me. I do love my boyfriend, though, and I don't want to leave him. Well, sure, he's probably that nice guy that she can, talk about her feelings with and buy her stuff and all that, but the guys or the gals who really do it for her to turn her on are like her. People like this cannot be in a monogamous relationship. They shouldn't even bother trying. And again, okay, if what she's saying is accurate and truthful, she did let the dude know. And this goes to show you. And by the way, she says she's 20 and he's 19. So 1 year is a big deal at that age because the gals are way ahead of the dudes, let's be honest here, in terms of experience most of the time. And the guy was probably just this clueless guy that really liked her and probably thought she was all sweet and nice and that bullshit. It's usually the sweet and nice ones that are the most wild. She says, fast forward to last week, over dinner one night, I told him how I feel. And I told him that I'd like an open relationship. I try to make it easy as possible for him. I only really am interested in women other than him, so I wouldn't have to get jealous of other guys. But he took it really badly and got pretty upset. He basically told me we should break up if that's something I really wanted. Good for him. He's redeemed himself, even though he got in a relationship with a gal who openly said, yeah, I'm poly and I like to fool around and have a free pass to cheat. He left dinner really quickly and went home after that, even though we had other plans. Good for him. He's really sweet, kind, and caring, and really anything you could ask for, and I'm afraid to lose him. Well, you don't hear the guys that she would want to hook up with. Probably the guys that she wants to hook up with are not sweet, kind, caring, all that. It says here. So I eventually let him go after a bit of an argument, but he still seems pretty pissed off at me. Doesn't want to be near me and really doesn't want to do anything with me ever since that conversation. Well, he doesn't want to have obviously anything to do with you, okay? He thought maybe he could change you, which was stupid, or maybe you'd be different with him, but he learned. And I say good for him. It's better they break up, even hopefully amicably. Nobody wants an enemy, because they're just not compatible. He's never gotten angry at me in the past, so it's really strange to see him mad at me like this. At this point, I feel like he might even break up with me, and I don't know how to make this situation any better. Well, if you really care about the guy, you break up with him, or accept him breaking up, because you aren't compatible. But you can see she wants to keep him around. I want to keep my nice guy around because I have fun for him during my downtime when not feeling frisky, but I still want to be free to go hook up with that girl, and no doubt eventually that dude and that dude. It's just not going to work. These things simply don't work. The only way these things work is if you have two people who are exactly the same. A guy and a gal and a gal, a dude and a dude, whatever. I don't care. If they're on the same page, they start the thing off like that, okay, fine. But if you got one that's one way and one the other, not going to work. They never do. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. I thought it'd be a good one to go over here. I think the open marriage things are always pretty funny because they always end the same way. I think anybody stumbling upon the channel gets to learn something here, and those of you guys that have been watching me a while can see where these things all lead. Somebody brings it up, it's over. End of story. Be sure to comment down below, let me know what you think about this, guys, and also be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.